Hey guys, and welcome to We Film Things. It's me, Jack. Eliska's not with me today because she is currently trekking around the Czech Mountains, which I'm pretty jealous of. So I'm here in the flat and I thought I would take this opportunity to answer one of the questions that Eliska and I get asked a lot. Already this year we've been to quite a few places, so it's June right now, and we've managed to hit Saint-Tropez in France, Naples in Italy, to the Czech Republic a couple of times, Amsterdam, and we have been to Paris as well. So that's all in 6 months. Last year some of our big trips were a road trip across the USA. We went to Iceland as well, and we hit up the Isle of Skye in northern Scotland. So that was all really cool, but at the same time both Eliska and I held down our full-time jobs, which was quite hard. I work in the government and Eliska is a lawyer full-time. So they're quite intense corporate jobs and they often preclude traveling. How do you travel so much and maintain a full-time job? Okay, so the first thing is expectations. You've got to have the right expectations set. You can't expect to be traveling across the world all the time if you're holding down a full-time job. What we're really talking about is the smaller trips, the weekend getaways. So we're not talking about the big South African road trip or anything like that really. Actually, Eliska and I only really have one big holiday a year. Last year that was a road trip across the USA, which was awesome. This year that's probably going to be a trip in Southern Africa. The other thing to expect is that it's going to cost a lot of money if you're going to travel regularly. So to kind of counteract that, Eliska and I often don't travel to places in the peak season. For example, last year I went to the Alps just before the summer when the season was still low. Things were much cheaper and much quieter. Equally, we went to Australia as well, and we went in the winter. When we travelled the Whitsunday Islands, that was amazing because we got to travel on our own boat, which would normally be packed full of people, and it's cheaper. Don't expect to be able to go during the peak season if you want to save that money to travel more. So my second tip is to set goals. This is something that Eliska and I did last year and it worked really well. Our goal was to travel to someplace new every month, whether that be really far away or really quite close. Because we did that, we found ourselves traveling quite regularly, which was really great. And we found people at work on a Monday asking us how we managed to get away or where that place was. And actually, we were traveling to places that were actually quite nearby quite regularly. So one trip we went to Dorset to see Durdle Door. Another trip we went to Botany Bay in Kent. And these trips are kind of an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of London. But they look brilliant on Instagram and they're very impressive. But setting that goal really helped us get out of the house and go somewhere new and get traveling regularly. Okay, so the third tip is that you're gonna have some gains by traveling and you're gonna have some losses. The main thing here is that if you're gonna spend more money traveling, you're gonna have to reduce your spending somewhere else. So for example, Eliska and I don't go out for drinks, we don't go out for clubbing very often, and we save that money to go traveling. The basic premise is you can't have your cake and eat it, unfortunately. It's a hard truth to have to bear, but it's one to learn early on. If you want to have that money to go traveling, you're going to have to suck it up somewhere else. I think the other bits of our lifestyle which have probably suffered is definitely for me my wardrobe, but also the apartment. It's taken us years to try and get our apartment to a place where it looks okay. And that's purely because we don't spend much time or money on it, and we probably should spend more of that. Fourth tip for me is location. Think about your location. So for us, London is a brilliant place to be based if you want to travel regularly. It's very easy to get outside of London, either by rail or by flight, and often very cheap. The other thing is it's European. And the great thing about living in Europe is you can do very short flights to all kinds of cultures and countries very, very easily and at a moment's notice, really. Some of our best trips were actually very, very last minute trips. And being in Europe and being in London really enabled that. So one thing to think about long term, and it's maybe not something that you can solve right now, is where you're based, because that makes a huge difference to your ability to travel. Final tip is people. People will enable you to travel more and to better places. Well, I've had some awesome trips because I've got friends that live in different locations around the world. I've got friends that live in Sweden, Australia, we met friends in America, all kinds of places. And knowing people and getting to know them either through social media or real life is an awesome bonus for traveling because it makes it cheaper. You can stay with them. It also makes it better because they're going to show you the ropes and show you all the great places that you wouldn't normally go. So that's the other tip, is go see friends around the world, because no matter where it is, they'll show you some awesome places that no one else is going to get to. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little video from me. Nothing too special or fancy. It's my first solo video, so be kind, please. And I hope if you enjoyed it, if you want more travel tips like this, you'll subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Hopefully with Eliska for moral support for me. Catch you later, guys. Bye.